and that's what I said to the team. I said, we had some guys played their butts off tonight, and we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things. About not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach. And I got to coach him better because it's unacceptable for us not to have found a way to win this football game. It's ridiculous. And it's crazy.
I am Jonathan Poche, joined by the Bud Man, Buddy Songy. We're at Old School Barbecue, Pelican Studios, ready to bring you another episode of Tigers Roar. Of course, LSU started the regular season of the college football 2024 campaign on Sunday in Vegas against USC, a matchup that LSU needed to win, in my opinion. It was a huge first opening game for LSU. Of course, had a lead late in the game but gave it away. All the storylines you could ever want. Teams replacing Heisman Trophy winners, new quarterbacks who waited their turns, coaches who have the same agent, a whole bunch of storylines. We have a whole bunch to talk about. We'll get right into it. Welcome. Great to see you, Bud Man. Great to be here with you.
I am very, very spicy. All kidding aside, it is Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, and look, folks, if you're one of the hundreds that I've talked to, I feel worse for those people who spent all that money in Vegas. Vegas basically just split people open and doubled everything. So if something was $19, it was $42. Fiji water, $25. Drinks at the pool, you and the wife, 2 drinks at the pool, $75, $5 tip, $80. But it was very much, from what I've gathered from people, like the Green Bay trip. Everybody loved every ounce of the trip except the game. And Coach Kelly's getting ready to have a press conference in about an hour. We are taping on Tuesday morning. And quite frankly, we got to put this loss on coaching. If you still think Sage Ryan can play corner at this level, shame on you. If you still don't have Major Burns running laps for 3 hours yesterday, shame on you. If you still don't dress down Karen Lacey after that immature and idiotic gesture. We talked about the C's. Remember we talked about the C's a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
Composure.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you got BK, who was hell-bent on running the football in the second half. Now, I don't know what he's going to say at noon, but I hope he takes accountability because this loss is on him and his staff. They got into a mix with blitzing, disguising, and knocking Miller Moss around, and guess what they play on the last drive? Yeah. Almost a prevent defense.
Right. Yep.
So, look, JP and I were talking before the show. This is what's so frustrating for me. I saw a lot of potential on this offense in the practices that we were able to go to. I saw a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. And yet, they did not call a lot of the plays. Where was the swing passes to the back, out the backfield to the running back? Caleb Jackson looked slow because you got to give him a little impetus. You got to give him a little momentum. Never a swing pass. They did throw it to him one time, got 9 yards, didn't come back to it. Karen Lacey, 7 catches, a touchdown in the first half. So you're mad at him and you put him in timeout. 0 catches. Now, I know they doubled him in the second half. But we can go on and on and on. And if I see one more time with LSU hurrying up to the line of scrimmage on a 3rd and 1 and bunching up and not getting the push, I'm going to puke. Get better plays and utilize your talent. I thought they got conservative as hell, and guess what happens? The neck gets real tight, and when they got tight and conservative on offense, JP, I thought Nuss started to feel it at the end. So, overall, I don't know if we're giving out grades on this Tuesday, but a game that coulda, woulda, shoulda won that game, JP.
Yeah.
Shoulda be a W.
Yeah.
Give Lincoln Riley credit. They didn't do any talking. We'll get into the talking, but shut your mouth and play football. Joe Sloan saying before the season, we got the best offensive staff in the country.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
Did they look like a Saturday night?
So that's good. All the way back to the first drive, bud, man. Kyron Lacy, 5 targets, 4 catches. He doesn't get a foot down in the end zone. Then you go forward on a 4th down. The second time in the drive, you get 0 points. That points to coaching. There's a whole bunch of reasons. But for me, the whole selling point for Brian Kelly coming to Baton Rouge was to get rid of all the distractions that was here left over with Coach O when he left, and there was a lot of problems in the locker room.
Yeah.
Now, Coach BK was supposed to come in and fix all that. It's all about discipline, graduating champions. Well, this team had 10 penalties for over 100 yards. Penalties that absolutely impacted the game. Kyron Lacy's penalty directly set up the touchdown pass to USC take the lead. Zachariah Branch had a 15-yard head start when he caught that ball. He's one of the best players in college, especially at the return game. You can't give him opportunities like that. You mentioned Lincoln Riley. I thought he absolutely outcoached Brian Kelly. He went to his playmakers in space, got Branch a screen on the outside. And then, truly, I thought the offensive line was going to be able to impose their will on USC, but that wasn't really the case in the first half. It was a fist fight in the trenches.
They're not the best offensive line in the country. Quit saying that.
I think
that's not even close.
I think DJ Chester with the fake snap. Will Campbell had 2 penalties. Major Burns had 2 penalties. These are guys on the team that are supposed to be absolute leaders on the team, supposed to be holding other people accountable. It's tough to do that when you yourself are getting penalized. When it's Ashton Stamps, that false start or offsides on Major Burns absolutely got him cooked on that touchdown. If I'm Stamps, I am furious. How can you not be watching the ball? They almost got Perkins on a blitz. He did time it up just right to where he got pressure early on an RPO. He blew it up in the backfield. But number 7, you have got to show more effort towards the end of the game. I don't know if you saw the replay, but on that last touchdown by USC, he gave no effort. And I get that, there's talk about, you try to let him score, you have time left. There was 7 seconds left in the game. It's do or die. There was no effort. They might have thought they were trying to place the ball in the middle of the field, kick the field goal, whatever, but that has to be coached better. BK has to take accountability for it because, the discipline was not there. Second half, they made poor adjustments to the defense that USC. In the first half, Nussmeier was carving up that cover 2 defense, that soft cover 2. He was just getting past the cornerbacks in front of the safeties. He was eating USC's lunch, rolling out left, rolling out right. Nussmeier looked the part to me. And the offense did enough good things where they could have won that game. But, look, to me, before my score prediction, I had it at 25-18. Not to think that the LSU defense is going to stop USC to 18, but in my opinion, that was the only way LSU was going to win that game. They're not going to score as many points as last year. They need to shorten the game on offense and absolutely run that football. I thought John Emery looked fantastic in a 39-yard long for him. That was a good spark. Caleb Jackson, I agree, kind of got bottled up. Josh Williams also kind of got bottled up.
Yeah.
So, look, teams do not fear the quarterback taking that RPO. So, look, it's time to move on from that from LSU. Work that dunk, work that screen pass. The LSU offense needs to get more creative, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I apologize being a little dramatic here with slamming my fist on the table just to give you a little bit of taste. But this is a very crucial time. I will give you some positives. Aaron Burrell, I thought, was fantastic on kickoffs. I specifically asked Coach Kelly about that last week. We thought we were going to see Dybert, but they got him cleared, and he kicked the ball off, and he made the tackle.
What a tackle.
What a tackle. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown.
Yep.
Punting, really not much. They just kind of pooched it up about 39 yards and didn't give up a bunch of returns. But the immaturity, the lack of control with composure, but more so, this is what I think people are going to have to realize, that what happens in this town and all other towns after this first game loss, and this one stings because now it's 5. And I know BK's only been on 3 of them, but I really thought that they had their act together. They knew the importance. But he came in there at halftime. I think everybody knows that Joe Sloan was calling the plays and throwing the ball to set up the run. Mm-hmm. He came in there and told Holly Rowe right at halftime, we're going to sit there and run the football. I'm watching Boston College last night. I'm watching Georgia Tech the week before. You got to be a little more creative in the run game, JP.
Yep.
The one time they pulled and they didn't pull enough. I mean, and they had trouble with DJ Chester.
Yep.
We talked about this 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
He's getting his feet wet, but all in all, there were not too many positives. Look, Harold Perkins, to me, I think what they ought to do is move him to Major Burns' spot and let him play the star. Sit Major Burns' ass down.
Done.
Sit his ass down.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Done.
PG people. You got to say it. Sit him down. Put Perkins at the star and bring in. You're not going to lose. Greg Penn is the mic, but then you bring in Wes Weeks. And so you got Perkins in the star. Wes Weeks plays the same position as Perkins. And look, Wes Weeks had 6 tackles in 21 snaps.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Did you see Jacoby and Gilroy?
I saw him out there in the beginning of the game.
Bo Davis, he didn't make a tackle.
Yeah.
Bo Davis, you don't perform, you sit. And, oh, by the way, Frank, once again, horrific running back rotation.
Yeah, I agree.
No disrespect to Josh Williams. Everybody loves him.
Yep.
But, man, when you watch college football, LSU is not elite at the running back spot anymore. And this offensive line needs to come out with fire. Here's what I fear, though. You got to make sure everybody, and this is passionate. We all know this is big business. This is big money. But now today, you got to come in and tell everybody, look, everybody's pointing the finger at you. Everybody's telling you how bad you played. They really didn't play that bad, but they didn't finish. And from a philosophical standpoint, BK has got to let Joe Sloan start, because that to me looked like Les Miles taking over the play calling from Jimbo Fisher many, many years ago. These conservative run it up, they just don't have the horses up front. I don't care how ballyhooed and all-star they've been talked about. This offensive line has got to play a lot better. And JP, all those plays, all those formations, all those, you didn't see a bubble screen, you didn't see a regular screen. Mason Taylor, where was he in the second half? Kyrie Lacey ought to be your guy too. I mean, we could sit here and go on and on and on, but the bottom line is this. As a fan, you've got to hang in there, because the next 4 games, they're going to be prohibitive favorites, and they will take care of business. I think this team is going to get better each week, but very disappointing with that start. Very disappointing that this is 5 years. And let me say one final thing, and then I'll shut up. All of these fans and even media people, oh, I'm tired of opening up with a non-conference game and a loss. Belly up to the bar. This is big man football. It's gone away, JP. They're not going to play many of these anymore because of the CFP and 12. But quit asking for rice and quit asking for this cupcake and that cupcake. And then you had it on the schedule. You had all year to get ready for it, and you failed it. And so quit asking for the gimme games. Be ready to go in game 1. And I got to be honest with you. I talked to a bunch of people that went Vegas. A lot of them were washing their hands of BK. And so he better get it together quick, or he'll find out that Baton Rouge is not a great place to live when you're not performing on Saturday night. They are back in Tiger Stadium Saturday night. You'll get to see all the new perks, the flashes, and the light show and everything with the new and improved Tiger Stadium. So sorry to be spicy, but I'm just telling you from the people I talk to, people have the screaming reds right now.
Yeah, and but man, next year a season opener doesn't get any easier. You travel to the other Death Valley, take on Clemson at home. So yeah, 25. Am I wrong?
No, that is correct. But I will tell you this: Clemson has not signed one player in the transfer portal in the last 2 or 3 years, and I think it shows. Man, if you'd played Florida State this year, LSU to beat them. If you'd have played Clemson the first weekend, LSU would beat them. But at Clemson and then hosting Clemson, we'll see what happens moving forward.
Take another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and see some highlights from this past Sunday in Vegas, LSU versus USC. We're talking a whole lot about it. You're watching Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
You could be driving a
Looking for a certified Honda? Get your dream deal now at Team Honda Used Cars. Get 0.99% financing on some of our most popular models, including Accords and Pilots. Honda dreams come true at Louisiana's #1 certified Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You could be driving a Honda.
Now's the best time to get an award-winning Honda during the Honda Summer Event at Team Honda. Find top performance and unbeatable reliability with our outstanding selection of new Hondas. Save on your new Honda today at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche and the Budman, Buddy Songy. Spicy first segment. If you missed it, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All the Tigers Roars are archived right there for you viewing pleasure. We're also going to start back up with Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks from Southern University. That show kicks back up tomorrow evening from TJ Ribbs. Of course, that'll also be on Pelicans' YouTube page along with Talking Sports with Chris Powers and everything we do here at the Pelicans. So go check it out. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Still talking about the 27-20 loss for LSU this Sunday in Vegas. Of course, we know all the purple and gold faithful that were in the stadium absolutely spent at least a few $1,000s in Vegas.
Oh, man.
No doubt about it. Vegas is not a town you can go on a budget. And wish it would have worked out differently for LSU. But we're here to talk about the game. Coach BK now starts 0-1 for the third year in a row. It was an important game. I think a lot of the talking heads understood that this is probably one of the most important games on LSU's schedule this year, especially with how the rest of the SEC is looking. Texas looked dominant. They're brand new to the SEC. Of course, Alabama takes on Western Kentucky. They look pretty good under new head coach DeBoer. So, look, but man, there's a lot of questions about both offense and defense, but there were some bright spots. I thought Savion Jones had a spectacular game on the edge. 2 sacks, had the batted ball. LSU was inches away from getting at least 3 turnovers. Whit Weeks has the ball just get knocked out of his hands just at the last moment. There were turnovers to be made. I thought the defense was drastically improved over last year. This was not an historically bad defense for LSU anymore. They communicated better. They did have some exotic pressures in the first half. Harold Perkins, when he was into the game, he was all over the backfield for USC, but coaching is about adjustments, in-game adjustments. It can't just be at halftime when you have the whole team around. You got to go get in a group, whoever the talking head is, and get on the same page. And I thought the adjustments for LSU in the second half were not as good as the ones made by Lincoln Riley and his staff. And got to give you credit, tip of the cap to the quarterback Moss from USC.
Yeah.
Kid was absolutely under fire. He stood tough, placed balls on him. And look, the wide receivers for USC, they made some of the – if Hudson's one-hander is not the catch of the year, then there's going to be some great catches this season because, I mean, USC just made a couple plays in the fourth quarter, and that's all it really took to get the job done against LSU.
I guess my opening segment with the frustration is for all those fans and everybody that thought that this was going to be a little bit different. Like, you can call me a DA, you can call me whatever. I really thought they were going to have it together, and I'm little to worried about the influence that the head coach had. Now, look, Brian Kelly has won a lot of football games, but he is a old-school mentality. Yeah. Nick Saban had to have Lane Kiffin to teach him what is new and how you skin the cat on offense. Lincoln Riley, one of the greatest play callers. I like the defense, but what are you doing getting back and not going after the quarterback on the last drive? Very disappointed on that. And you've got to find an identity. You've got to find the guy that you can lean on at 3rd and 2. Like I pounded my fist, that running up to the line of scrimmage and bunch it up, you're not getting the push. You're getting knocked back. So that had no chance of working. You didn't see any bubbles. You didn't see anything that we saw. They would literally get the ball with Nussmeier, throw it out here. Oh, by the way, Chris Hilton was in street clothes. Poor guy can't get a break. He's still got a bone bruise. We'll get an availability update later on in the week. Kyle Parker caught a ball, and all of a sudden, I'm not sure what that was, elbow contusion, whatever it is. We'll find out about him. Jacobian Gilroy was MIA. Yeah. Now, this is a senior that we thought was going to be one of the studs on the defensive line. Bo Davis said, you're going to play like you know what? You're going to sit. So
Gio Pius, I thought, filled in well. I thought Gio Pius had a pretty good game.
Gio Pius had a good game. Jay Suggs, number 31, played. Savion Jones. I want to see more of Deshaun Womack. He came in and had impact. I'm not sure why he didn't get more PT. But LSU has got to get appreciably better at the safety spot. Yeah. And I don't want to see Major Burns 15 yards down the field covering receivers. But Whit Weeks, to me, needs to play more. I know he makes some mistakes, but he's going 100%. Look, they'll clean it up and plow through Nichols, and then the next challenge will be at South Carolina a week from this Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning on ABC. Then, of course, UCLA and South Alabama. JP, I'll ask you, for all the people that you've talked to, because my people are still mad here, this being Tuesday. They will calm down maybe in another day. But do you think they get the 4-1 with the open date ready to play over?
Oh, but man, they certainly better.
Yeah.
They certainly better, no doubt. We do have some highlights from this past Sunday. We'll ask Tom, who's doing a great job for us, to go ahead and roll those, and we'll continue to talk over them. But man, the first drive for LSU, they moved the ball up and down the field. Kyron Lacey had 5 targets. He made 4 catches. Here's the first one right here. Toe taps on the sidelines. He absolutely dominated his matchup on this first drive.
Yeah, they couldn't guard him. And as we said, here's Nuss. And then you got to run here. And this is one of the better plays for Josh Williams right there.
Yeah, Josh Williams got a head of steam getting down to about the 9-yard line. And LSU kind of sputters right here, bud, man. I thought they'd get close. I think here's the screen to Kyle Parker. If I'm not, that's the handoff. Got the wide receiver screen to Kyle Parker. He gets hurt. Good defense right there from USC. They kind of, sold out on the run and had a big stop. So LSU comes away with no points on their first drive. Opts to go for on a 4th down. But here's the defense swarming to the football. Lots of penetration right there, led by number 7, Hal Perkins.
Yeah, and VK once again won the toss and took the football and did not take the field goal. I'm sure that will be a question asked today. Talking about repeating mistakes, JP. Didn't take the football, didn't get the field goal.
Yep, there was Gio Paez and a tackle for loss. Here's some very good play calling right here. Get your playmaker, Zachariah Branch, the ball in space. It was good play action. That's a well-designed play, something that LSU probably wants to mark down in their playbook, how to spread the ball around. Quarterback Moss, this was a fantastic catch by Hudson. They showed the replay a bunch of times. The ball, I thought, might have been loose at the ground, but wasn't enough evidence to overturn it, so it goes down as one of the best catches of the night. Touchdown right here for USC. They take the lead 7-0, and LSU's playing from behind in the first half.
By the way, I know everybody was irritated, but the officiating was absolutely harsh manure.
Yeah, I did not like the new rule where the defensive line can't shift, but here's a great catch from Kyron Lacey. Well-thrown ball from Garrett Nussmeier. He toes it up. Of course, directly after this play, Lacey had a stupid gesture towards the defender. LSU gets pushed back on a kickoff. This gives Zachariah Branch a whole lot of room to catch the ball right there. He fields it on the 12. And without this kickoff, man, right here with a very athletic play, boom, what a tackle.
blocking the back right there by the receiver, wasn't called. You saw it. Unfortunately, these Big 12 officials were not consistent all game long. I'm not blaming that for the loss, but they were horrible.
2 plays later, Moss makes some pay, gets the ball all the way down to the 2-yard line. Of course, LSU gets help with penalties. USC gets pushed a little bit back, and here's a big sack. That should have been a turnover, but man, great sack right there by Savion Jones. Ball just didn't bounce to LSU.
No turnover, 0 takeaways for this LSU defense, and once again, here it is, that little screen in space.
Yep.
And once you've got to do a better job of tackling, but that's a great play call by Lincoln Riley. Held him to 3, though, JP.
USC does settle for the field goal. They take the lead 10-7 with 4:21 in the second half. LSU does a really good job moving the ball down the field. Garrett Nussmeier on play action. He goes back to his right, finds an open man. I believe that's Kyron Lacey again. I thought Mason Taylor had a good game, bud, man, but stay on your feet, big man. Truck a DB and try to get some yards after the catch. Damian Ramos does tie the game up before halftime. Of course, USC did have a minute. They drove it all the way down. Their kicker missed his chip shot, so it goes tied at halftime. Here's another big sack. This is Savion Jones. I thought Parashant also had good pressure, but that was Savion Jones on the sack.
Savion Jones played super all-fall camp, and he delivered it with 2 sacks. He's going to make a lot of money this year, JP.
So 13-10 is the score after USC gets the field goal. Nussmeier again on the play action, finding his tight end like Mason Taylor right there. Keep your feet and truck that man right there. Get some more yak. It would help the offense. But he did have a good game getting some separation.
Finally, we got a little run play. John Emery, his best run in a long, long time. And once again, what happens is that John Emery lost his composure. A guy had his elbow and his wrist all over him. Here's the Aaron Anderson getting in the end zone. But John Emery got the Reds, and they had to take him out. But Aaron Anderson, good to see him have a big game. Ought to have 5 or 6 targets a game.
Here's another fumble by USC. They tried some trickery on the reverse. Of course, it bounces right to that offensive lineman, so another turnover that could have been but wasn't for LSU. Again, USC backed up in their own territory. Good play by the defense, standing up. So that's Whit Weeks right there, number 40. I agree with the Bud, man. He's got to get more playing time for LSU.
21 snaps for Whit Weeks is ridiculous.
That was a spectacular throw right there, under pressure.
Catch.
Yeah, getting hit. Great throw, great catch right there by Mawson. Yeah, those are the plays you have to make in the fourth quarter when you're down by 4 points.
But you see LSU getting close to the line of scrimmage and sending pressure. No, we did see Jacoby Gilray on that play, but he did not register a stat in this game.
Another tackle for loss for Weeks. Here's USC. Moss on the play action, finds his wide receiver, and that was open a lot for the Spartans, or the Trojans, right behind the linebackers in front of those safeties. That's the play right there. Major Burns jumps off sides. Ashton Stamps absolutely sees it. They try to take a shot play, get a completion for a touchdown over Stamps. I know he was mad about that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, here's another excellent play to Aaron Anderson. He is going to be the guy that finally looks healthy, JP.
They had to fill in for Kyle Parker and Chris Hilton when he was out in street clothes. So Aaron Anderson, good to see him get a touchdown in the first week of the season. Yeah, he had a big game for LSU. Here is Nussmeier trying to move the ball down the field. 3 minutes left in the game. That was a pretty nice catch right there.
Xavier Thomas did a good job. Got to see him more.
LSU, that was a tough play right there. Flag on the play. Again, the officials, that was a target to Kyron Lacey. Going to settle for the 3, tie the game up with 1:40 change on the clock. And with this defense facing USC, with that quarterback who's waited his time, he absolutely carved up LSU's defense.
But look at the formation. They're all back. They're not at the line of scrimmage. Look at them. This is almost prevent and then targeting. Jordan Gilbert is not good enough at safety. I don't want to beat up the kid. He's from U-High, went to Texas A&M. He had a horrific game, and both safeties. They got to get better play to safeties. As you said, Perkins, some of the guys just gave up and let the guy run in right there.
Yeah, don't know what the defense was thinking if they were, trying to place the ball for a field goal, but it absolutely didn't work out. Of course, Nussmeier had insult to injury, trying to move the ball with just a few seconds left. Throws an interception, his first of the year. LSU goes down 27-20 in Las Vegas. Of course, those Tiger faithful that made the trip spent a whole lot of money to be disappointed, but we know they spent a whole lot of money because they were disappointed after that game.
Well, no, they didn't. They didn't spend any money after the game. Trust me. No, this crowd does not drink after the game. They had the Screaming Reds. Oh, by the way, they had this bridge that you had to walk over to get to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you should have. I heard it was worse than the interstate on a Friday at 4 o'clock. here in Tiger Town. So all that being said, great trip for the fans except for the game. Yep. Everybody will calm down, but now you have people asking that $64 million question, and it is a legitimate one. How far can BK take this program? Do not give up on them. Have patience. Look, we don't have a lot going on Saturday nights in Baton Rouge. Right. Everybody lives vicariously through LSU Southern on the weekends during the high school games. But you gotta give them a little time to get better. But very disappointing. Inside the red zone, play calling was horrific, and I do not like at the back end of that game the guys not getting. He should have been blitzing. He should have been showing that blitz. He should have been sending that pressure. I don't know if BK told him to get back or not, but they've got to get the. You got to understand something, JP. This is 6 new coaches, all 5 on the defensive side, and Joe Sloan. And I don't know if you saw it on TV, but Joe Sloan and BK and all of them were screaming and hollering. So the C word this week, composure. Got to be more composed.
Yeah, I completely agree, Bud, man. The penalties absolutely killed LSU. And, talking to the defense or about the defense, Blake Baker, who's so, a great mind defensively. He comes out with creative ways to blitz the quarterback. And BK said before the season this team was going to have to manufacture pressure. And why do you have to pressure the quarterback? Well, because your secondary isn't very good to sit on the island for 3, 4, 5 seconds. Someone's going to be running wide open. If you can't dial up some type of pressure and just sit, with 7 guys in the back waiting to pass, guys like Miller Moss will carve you up with good receivers, and that's exactly what USC did with just a minute and change to go ahead and win that football game.
A couple of other tidbits. Nuss did feel the pressure later on in the game. There was a play where Aaron Anderson is out there in space, and he walks in the end zone, and Nuss, unfortunately, I don't know if he lost control of the football in his hand, his wrist or whatever, but threw it basically, and he did this afterwards. So overall, give Nuss a solid B, but look, the grades that everybody wants to see is W, and they didn't get the W, so hang in there, but very, very disappointing. And I will tell you this, if they open up that playbook, LSU has a lot of players and a lot of talent. Why is it about these coaches? They're so conservative. I know experience is one thing, but if you didn't see that, and I'm not going to name these guys personally because I know people sometimes, you calling this guy out. But, man, DBs, corners, safeties, they got some guys that young and haven't played. They need to get a chance, JP, because we've seen the same old stuff with some of these guys, and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we'll take another break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and let you guys hear from the head coach himself, take you back to Sunday night, the post-game press conference. We'll take another quick break. You're watching Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
If you're ready for a new car that's designed to take you where you want to go, whenever you want to go, now's the time to find out all there is to know about the new Mazda CX-50, named an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus Award winner. Save on your new Mazda right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Treads and Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads and Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads and Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads and Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Wearing the shades. LSU starts 0-1 for the 5th year in a row. If you missed any of the episode, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. While we got a minute, got to give a shout out to the boss man, AT. Get well soon, boss man. We certainly miss you around here. We got Tom running the bus back there, doing a great job. And, of course, our Florida Rucker extraordinaire, Marty, always doing a great job for us. Bud, man, you mentioned Gary Nussmeier, and you gave him a solid B. I absolutely thought that he played well enough to win. The moment was not too big for him. He stepped right into it, delivered the balls on the money. I think he went 31 for 39. Didn't have the interception late in that game to close it out, but the ball to Lacey that he couldn't get a ball down was an absolute dime. The one that Lacey did catch was an absolute dime. He was able to roll both directions, flip his feet, flip his hips, and deliver on the money pass to his tight end. He's got all the tools to get the job done in the SEC. There's no doubt about that. LSU has their quarterback. They just got to figure out all the pieces around it.
They don't have a backup quarterback,
right.
dude. So,
yeah.
Look, I agree with all of that except at the end of the game. I thought Nuss played tight at the end of the game, and there were some throws. I had a couple people that were at the game and said, look, I got people wide open. And so he did not. Yep. When LSU went conservative with the play calling, that's when he felt the nerves. Oh, by the way, if you don't know this by now, LSU needs to throw the football to set up the run. This, I'm going to run over your butt. You might do it against Nichols. You might do it against some other teams, but BK better learn real quick. You're going to have to blitz and send the kitchen sink, and you're going to have to throw to set up the run. I learned those two things on Sunday night. We'll see what he says coming up here in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, and BK, we have his post-game press conference from this past Sunday right here on Tigers. We're going to let you guys listen to him. Here's head coach Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I think it's the first time since I've been here that I'm pretty angry at our football team. And, first of all, from a big picture, we didn't play complimentary football. When we did some good things on the offensive side of the ball, we didn't complement, that defensively, and vice versa. But the thing that is most concerning for me are the personal fouls, the penalties that are selfish. Both of them led to scores, and they're undisciplined penalties, and effectively they fall back on me. And we take pride in running a disciplined program, but we have clearly not done a good enough job there because it impacted the game. The other thing is, unfortunately, it's clear that when we get up in a game, we do not know how to handle ourselves. You got to have a killer instinct in this game. You got to put teams away. We had an opportunity to put this team away, and we get complacent. We make more mistakes when we're ahead instead of having a better focus and a steely-eyed killer instinct, and that's disappointing. And so I'm angry at those things that I have to do a better job in shaping that in this group, because we had guys that played hard tonight. I mean, we had guys that wanted to win and were prepared to win. But those two things just, eat at me, and, they got to get fixed. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
Brian, did the offense, particularly in the second half, like you said, not being able to maybe take advantage of opportunities to put the BC away, what exactly would you look at went wrong in those moments?
There's a host of situations. We had a couple of false start penalties. We started behind the chains a couple of times. Wasn't probably our best execution. We don't have a cutoff on the backside on one. We don't, we don't run the route correctly. I mean, there was a number of different things, and they were based solely on the inability to execute at a high level when our best was needed offensively. We were not able to deliver. Now, we battled, and look, here's what I'm going to tell you. You get inside the 15-yard line 3 times and you come away with 6 points, that's going to come back and beat you. And so we can talk about missed blocks and not executing and not doing this and not doing that. We left a lot of points out there. We went up and down the field, but if you don't score points when you're down inside the red zone, like we did not do tonight, you're going to lose a one-possession game like we did tonight. And we put way too much pressure on our defense to be something that they're not ready to be. They battled, but we have warts, and they're not going away overnight. They got better. But our offense needed to be better because we needed to score in those situations, and that's just the way it needed to be. And coming up with 6 points with 3 possessions inside the 15 is just not good enough.
Brian, what did you see in that defense? You talked about them being better. Obviously, a nice challenge with their receivers and tight ends.
I think our defensive tackle play was much better. I think our edge play was better. I think we tackled pretty good. We competed on the edge. I think we were competitive. I just think overall it's connected better. We've got to get better in some areas, but, it's a cohesive, connected group that plays hard. They played really, really hard. And they didn't execute at the end as well as we would have liked, but that's probably it.
Hey, Brian, right here. You guys have really kind of struggled to get the run game going at times in this game. Just maybe talk about some of the inconsistencies maybe that you saw there. Just how you
Look, we could sit here and we could go and, look at a million different things, but, we had over 400 yards in total offense. We weren't able to put the ball in the end zone when we really needed to. And so this is much more about being a much better and efficient offense in the red zone than it is the failings of the inability to run. We ran the ball well enough to set up everything else that we needed to do. Do I want to run the ball better? Absolutely. There's no doubt. I think our execution needs to get better. But having said that, we ran the ball well enough to win this game. But you can't win it if you don't score touchdowns in the areas that we won or come away with nothing from the 3-yard line. Well, I've already commented on the 2 personal foul penalties. They impacted the game, and they're from veterans, and from guys that know better and are leaders. And I have to look at myself and say I have to do better because they're not getting the message. So, we had the 2 penalties there. Clearly that impact those 2 penalties impacted the game. You know, we had a couple of false start penalties. We had a PI that, I thought one was clearly a PI. The other one was, could have gone either way. 10 is too many. Let's put it that way. 10 is too many, but 2 personal foul penalties that set up scores is unacceptable.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly once again starting 0-1 on his football season. That last question about the penalties, of course, 10 penalties is too many, but the personal fouls that directly set up the scores was just, backbreaking for LSU. Still trying to figure out how to win ball games. Of course, Blake Baker has done, in my opinion, a great job, changing the psyche of this defense. Last year they were so bad. You have to believe that you'll be able to compete before you can actually do it. Believe before you can achieve it. And LSU, they're going to have some serious talks with these leaders on the team. The accountability, the discipline, the penalties, silly mistakes, on top of not getting the turnovers, it's going to be tough for LSU to win ball games like that.
I think in the heat of passion, everybody knows that you say some things and you do some things and you feel bad afterwards. But I'm hoping that BK was able to get everybody back in the facility last night and tonight and calm everybody down. Look, this is one of the things that happens everywhere. Florida State, by the way, is 0 for 2. They got hammered. Bill O'Brien, now that was an excellent game plan and utilization of the run game. LSU has got to be a little more creative, and they've got to play more young players. There are a lot of young players on this team. It's hard to throw them into the deep end of the swimming pool, but trust me, they're all going to swim. And I know there's a lot of people that are fed up with some guys that didn't bring their A game again, but it is not the end of the season. Let's stress this.
Yeah, right.
With the 12, now, what does that do? It gives LSU very little room for error. So as we look ahead, if you take care of business and you're 4-1, then you've got 2 weeks to get ready for Ole Miss, who look, by the way, really good.
Yeah,
Tennessee looked really good. Texas is at Michigan, your early Saturday a.m. game. Tennessee's at NC State, some other games. Alabama looked great. Of course, Georgia sent Dabo back with his head tucked between his tail again. So SEC, look, don't even think about the playoffs right now. This is one game at a time. Get every win that you can. Develop these players. And you hope to get Chris Hilton and some of the other guys back. But a long season, but it really took a lot of the momentum and the air out of the balloon after what happened Sunday night.
And of course, Nicholls coach Tim Rebowe from out there in Thibodaux going to travel to Baton Rouge under the brand new lights and brand new television, brand new speaker system. It's going to be a new experience for the fans at LSU Tiger Stadium. Death Valley will never have been louder because they're pumping through the music. And that huge screen, Bud, man, it's going to be a great experience for those fans. And look, not only for the kids on LSU, but you know how many kids at Nicholls played their high school football in the state of Louisiana. They are looking forward to getting on that to that field on Death Valley come Saturday.
Got a couple messages. Shelton Sampson didn't get in the mix. He may get in the mix this weekend. You may see a secondary quarterback just in case Nuss gets hurt later on. You're hoping this thing is going to be 56-3 or whatever. But once again, very disappointing. And now you gotta have a short memory, JP. Got to let that one go. And you got to, as you alluded to, look, Will Campbell, disappointed with Will Campbell.
Yep. 2
false start penalties. They're saying, and you know, I get back to this thing, stop all the talking. If you talk the talk, that's one thing, but you got to be able to walk the walk. And LSU talked the talk. USC was quiet, and guess who had all the fun after the game? USC made fun of LSU because they were quiet. So quit saying you're the best coordinator and offensive staff in the country. Quit saying you're the best offensive line. Right now, you're a long way from being the best in anything. And look, you go into this thing thinking it's going to be better than it is, but you're never as bad as you think you are, and you're never as good as you think you are.
Yep.
All you have to do is pick up the pieces. Enjoy Tiger Stadium. I do think there'll be some empties because people still have the Screaming Reds, but long season, and don't forget, with 12, shouldn't even be thinking about playoffs. Shouldn't even be thinking about that. Right now, you got to get your guns going, and all your guys with a positive framework, and this is where I want to see more players. This is ridiculous playing nothing but seniors and experienced players. Give some of those young bucks a chance this weekend.
Yeah, I only have one target for guys like Trey'Daz Green and Kamario Pimpton. Those guys were shining in the offseason. I mean, making plays over cornerbacks. The guys have all the physical capabilities, but they have to work themselves in. This is a great week to get some guys of football against Nichols. Going to have some backups, get a lot of playing time. Hopefully it's a name-that-score type of game. Everybody comes out healthy. If Nussmeier does have to take a few plays off, hopefully we have a competent backup quarterback that comes in, whether it be Swan, Collins, whoever it might be. But, yeah, going to have to stay healthy. LSU got to figure out some things, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I'll be honest again. The question marks going into the season, I thought were in the secondary and still moving into week 2. And typically the biggest improvement for a team is from week 1 to week 2. So LSU got some things to figure out, but I thought, all in all, they played well enough to win.
Jordan Gilbert is going to be out for the first half because of the targeting. That was at the end of the game, so we'll see. Deshaun Spears is number 10, going to see more action. 23, Colin Jackson came in. Got to do a better job, though. Look, LSU did a great job, and then they gave up big plays. They still ended up giving up 378 yards and over 400 yards to defense, but I agree with what you said earlier, appreciably better, but quit getting soft and playing prevents. Yeah. Get after that quarterback, and I would expect LSU to have 4 or 5 sacks this weekend. I really will.
LSU versus Nichols this Saturday, 6:30 kickoff. Of course, that'll be on the SEC or the ESPN Plus, so check it out on the 2 if you're not going to the game. Another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back for our final segment. You're watching Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
In the race for greatness, attention to detail counts. Just like Toyota, where precision and reliability meet outstanding performance. Shop and save on our selection of new Toyotas and enjoy your moment at Team Toyota, I-12 at the O'Neill Lane exit.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hey, welcome back to Tigers Roar. Certainly appreciate you tuning into this episode. If you missed any of it, go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. While you're at the page, go ahead and click the like, the notification, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It certainly helps us with the algorithm, and you'll get notified every time we post something new right there at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All right, Bud Man, so the NFL season will kick off this Sunday. The New Orleans Saints start with a a grudge match against an NFC South opponent in the Carolina Panthers. That kickoff is at noon Sunday. But, man, what do you think the Saints are going to do this year? I'll have the over-under at 7.5. They could win 8 games. They could win 6. How do you have the Saints faring this year?
Look, don't ask me. I thought LSU was going to win this football game and be 5-0. By the way, they actually do kick off Thursday night with the Kansas City Chiefs, who've had some crazy things going on in the off-season. But the Saints open it up, and I got to be honest with you. Watching the new coordinator, Clint Kubiak, I thought we'd see a little bit more. Maybe they're holding stuff for the real game. You got to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. You've got to score touchdowns when you get inside the red zone. I think that's one of the frustrating things about LSU. LSU last year did a great job of scoring touchdowns in the red zone. You can't lean on field goal, whether it be the Saints, LSU, or the Jags, whoever. But I'm cautiously optimistic in this game. Look, like we just said with this game, they've got to win the opening game, seriously, because the fan base is teetering right now on what they want to happen with Dennis.
Yeah, no doubt. Just like LSU, this first game of the season for the Saints is very important. Not only is it a division game, but, yeah, you go home, you host the Panthers, you travel to Dallas. Dallas always starts pretty hot. They have a very talented team. Jerry Jones believes in Dak Prescott. Just gave CeeDee Lamb a ton of money. That team's clicking on all cylinders. They looking to contend for a Super Bowl this year. That's going to be a tough matchup for the Saints. Then you come home to the Philadelphia Eagles. That team is very well set up. They have a good quarterback. They have a good defense. They just picked up Devin White to play linebacker. They are also expected to win a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. And then you go Atlanta in Atlanta, another division game. And Atlanta's going to be very improved this year. They paid a lot of money in the offseason to get Kirk Cousins, a quarterback that has beat the Saints in the past, let's be honest. Like Kirk Cousins or hate him, he has beat the Saints in the past. So, game 1, super important for the Saints. Don't want to start 0-4 on the season because Dennis Allen won't make it to Week 6.
Yeah, well, I think they'll be 1-3 at that gesture. But, look, still a lot of questions. So what do you think is going to happen with Kamara?
So Alvin Kamara wants to be paid as a feature running back. I don't believe he will be for the Saints. In my opinion, with that running back room, the guys you didn't take on the team, we saw in the offseason, run the ball very hard. Look, in my opinion, Kamara, Lattimore, both trade bait. Defense getting older as we speak with DeMario Davis and the Honey Badger. Going to have to get younger in a lot of spots coming up here, up quick in a hurry. Of course, you have Cam Jordan on the outside. Going to be pushed a little bit inside because of Carl Granderson and Chase Young. I was very impressed with Chase Young, and I do believe if the Saints can turn some of these red zone trips into touchdowns and not settle for field goals, this team could win 10 games with that defense. They have legitimate cornerbacks. They have a very experienced defensive core. And, Bud, man, it's all there for the taking. NFC South still up in the air. You know how you lose the division one year, you win the division next year. Saints were a half a game out the playoffs last year. They won 10 games. Derek Carr absolutely lit up the season, lit up the defenses in the last 4 games of the season. So hopefully he continues that, and the Saints start 1-0. So the state of Louisiana has something to cheer about with football.
Get out to the Dome this weekend. Get out to First Tiger Stadium. And as always, we'll see you back real soon with another edition of Tigers Roar.
Appreciate you watching Tigers Roar. Check out YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcast.
Chill out, everybody.